Or if I told you that a badass company introduced me to a franchise that I would still play to this day. Two childhood animation actors returned, but this time to a video game, and a game that felt more of a movie this time. Still holds a piece of my gaming heart to this day. Join me on another trip down memory lane as I uncover my top 5 PlayStation 3 games. These games aren't just classics, but personal legends of mine. You might be surprised by some of my picks, or you may find your old forgotten favourites. If you've enjoyed this series so far, be sure to check out youtube.com/@FlipbookGaming and check out all the latest content, plus this playlist of this series on there. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below, and be sure to leave your comments on these episodes in the comments section. Let's go. Before I dive into the main content, I want to mention our affiliate link. This channel's affiliate linked with the Rugged Gamer's online store, Nerd Bazaar. The Nerd Bazaar offers a wide variety of products from Dungeons and Dragons, dice sets and tabletop cards to detailed 3D figures, statues and collectibles. Check out the link down below and use code FLIPBOOK24 at the checkout store to get 10% off your purchases that you buy. A giant leap for Sony. The PlayStation 3 was Sony's third home video game console, released as a success to the hugely successful PlayStation 2. It marked a significant technology leap and represented Sony's ambitious vision for the future of gaming and home entertainment. The PlayStation 3 began development in 2001, shortly after the PlayStation 2's launch. The project was held under by Ken Kugaragi, often referred to as the father of the PlayStation. Sony aimed to create a powerful multimedia device that would serve not only as a gaming console, but as a comprehensive entertainment hub. The PlayStation 3 was announced at E3 2005, where Sony showcased its impressive technical specifications and the revolutionized cell processor, a custom chip developed in collaboration with IBM and Toshiba. The console was also notable for being one of the first gaming systems to include a Blu-ray disc drive, positioning its key player in the high-definition format war between Blu-ray and HD DVDs. The PlayStation 3 launched in Japan on 11th of November 2006, followed by the North American launch on 17th of November 2006 and the European launch the next year. The console launched with a hefty price tag of $499 for a 20GB model, $599 for a 60GB model in the US, making it significantly more expensive than its competitors, the Xbox 360 and the Nintendo Wii. The highly price tag combined with limited launch lineup production shortages led to a rocky start for the PlayStation 3. Critics questioned whether the console justified its cost, and many consumers were hesitant to invest. However, Sony maintained that the inclusive of a Blu-ray player alone made the console a bargain compared to a standalone Blu-ray at the time. Sony released several revisions over the PS3's lifetime. The original Fat model was replaced by the PlayStation Slim in 2009, which was lighter, quieter, and more energy efficient. In 2012, Sony introduced the PlayStation 3 Super Slimmer, an even more compact and affordable version. These redesigns, combined with a growing library of critical acclaimed exclusives such as Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War 3, and Metal Gear Solid 4, helped the PlayStation 3 regain monumental and close the sale gap with the Xbox 360. I could go on and on and on about this subject until I'm blue in the face, but I'll save that for another video. Here are my top 5 games for this truly well worth console I had. Number 5, Battlefield Bad Company. Battlefield Bad Company was developed by DICE and published by Electronic Arts. It marked a departure of the main Battlefield series to focus on a single-player, character-driven campaign, which was a first for the franchise. It was my first ever Battlefield game, and it welcomed me with open arms on the PlayStation 3. The game was built on a Frost engine by DICE, which debuted with this title. The Frost engine became famous for its impressive destruction physics and environmental details, setting it a new standard in the gaming industry for its interactive environments in first-person shooters. Bad Company received generally positive reviews from critics, praises for its humorous tones, likable characters, and innovative, destructible environments, which I still personally remember to this day. The campaign's lighter, more comedic approach was seen as a refreshing change for a typical standard serious military shooter of its time. Critics particularly highlighted the strong voice acting and banter between squad members, which gave the game personal charms and lifted the characters out more. The multiplayer component was also well received, with Gold Rush offering intense objective-based gameplay that encouraged teamwork and strategic thinking. However, some reviews noticed that the game's visuals, whilst impressive, often suffered from technical issues such as screen tearing on the PlayStation 3 version. The game's success led to a sequel, Battlefield Bad Company 2, released in 2010, which expanded on the original formula with improvements to graphics, more refined gameplay, and even more engaging storylines. The Bad Company sub-series remains a total fond memory in my mind, but I would have to put Battlefield Bad Company 1 to my number 5 list because of its storyline and quirky comments from soldiers, as well as the funny scenes, etc., etc. Number 4, Ghostbusters, the video game. Ghostbusters, a video game, was developed by Terminal Reality and published by Atari for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. The game was initially scheduled for release in October 2008 to mark the 25th anniversary of the original Ghostbusters film, but was delayed until June 2009 due to Atari's financial difficulties. The development team worked closely with Dan Aykroyd and Harold Rams to ensure the game felt authentic to the franchise. The developers were granted unprecedented access to Sony's archives, allowing them to recreate props, locations, and sound effects from the films. The game was built using Infernal Engine, which was modified to handle the complex physics requiring for the proton pack mechanics and environmental destruction. The PlayStation 3 version featured enhanced graphics and lighting effects compared to the other platforms, taking advantage of the console's processing power. Ghostbusters, the video game, received positive reviews from critics, with particular praises for its faithful recreation of the franchise's atmosphere, humour, and visually styles. Reviewers highlighted the game's energetic storyline, which felt like a legitimate continuation of the film's series. The voice performance by the original cast were universally praised, with many noting that it was a rare treat to hear the entire cast together again. The proton pack gameplay mechanic was considered innovative and satisfying, requiring players to weaken ghosts with their proton streams before trapping them, a process that felt challenging but rewarding in the end. Critics also appreciated the variety of paranormal threats and the creative bosses and boss battles. However, some reviewers noted the technical difficulties and issues, including occasional frame rate drop and glitches on the PS3 version. The multiplayer mode was, whilst fun, was often seen as somewhat limited compared to the robust single player. Commercially, the game was a success, selling over 3 million copies worldwide by the end of 2010. It was particularly received well by fans, and to me was absolutely monumental to see such a classic film being put on the PlayStation 3. Number 3, Batman Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham Asylum was developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by Eidos Interactive. The game was released in August 2009 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. It represented a bold new direction for superhero video games, combining stealth, combat, and detective work in a way that had never been done before. During the 80s to the early 2000s, DC Comics and Warner Brothers released numerous of animated films and television shows. From Superman to the Justice League, these projects made actors and actresses household names. Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill as the Joker, and Akaline Sorkine as Harley Quinn, becoming symbols with their characters through their roles in Batman the Animated Series. The voice acting connection created a lasting impact for years to come in the DC universe, with Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy being known for their definitive roles as Joker and Batman. When Batman Arkham Asylum was released in 2009, it launched the highly popular by far Batman Arkham series, written also by Paul Diner, a veteran of the animation series, Batman the Animated Series. The game is set entirely on Arkham Island and features a plot where the Joker takes over the assignment, trapping Batman inside with his worst enemies. Both Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy noted in number of interviews saying, if Kevin is doing it, then I'm in, and vice versa. The development team at Rocksteady consisted of just 60 people, many of whom was massive Batman fans. They spent 2 years crafting the game with a clear vision in mind to make players truly feel like the Dark Knight. This meant perfecting every aspect of the Dark Knight's abilities, from martial arts, power brows to detective skills and intimidation presence. The combat when playing as Batman is truly amazing, featuring all the moves from what I saw as a child from the television animations that I used to watch on TV. Number 2, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider 2013 is a reboot of the long-running franchise Tomb Raider. Developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square, it marks a dramatic reinvention of the franchise, which had been struggling for years commercially and heavily criticized by people. Released on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and PC, the development team chose to strip away that iconic protagonist that had defined Lara Croft in previous games and intended to represent her as a relatable human character forced to grow up quick through survival. The plot begins with young Lara Croft on her first expedition aboard the research vessel Endurance, searching for the lost kingdom of Yamatai, when all of a sudden Laura's vessel is hit with a violent storm, causing the ship to go off course and become shipwrecked. Laura and the rest of her crew stranded on an isolated, enchanted island. Laura is forced to quickly switch from an innocent aspect to a survivalist. Voiced by Camilla Ludington as the new Lara Croft, brings players more of an emotional performance to the character. The team used 3D motion capture extensively to ensure that Laura's physical and emotional journey felt authentic and impactful to those who are playing the game. Tomb Raider received wide critical acclaim upon release, with reviews praising its gripping narrative, stunning visuals, and successful reinventions of the once beloved Lara Croft as a character. That being said, it left me breathtaking experiences, unblinkable moments of game cinematics and gameplay presentation. The emotional weight also of Laura's transformation from an inexperienced archaeologists, capturable survival was amazing to see from the beginning to the end of the game. This sparks memories completely of playing a fresh new Tomb Raider franchise. Commercially, the game was a massive success, selling over 11 million copies worldwide by 2017. It became the best-selling Tomb Raider game to date and successfully rebooted the franchise with 2 sequels, Rise of the Tomb Raider 2015 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider 2018, forming a complete original trilogy of Lara Croft. The PlayStation 3 version featured immersive graphics for the console generation, with detailed character models and atmospheric lighting that brought the island's dangerous environments to life. I remember being near close to the last level in the village, and also in the villages that were getting burnt down, on where you was splitting between cutscenes and gameplay in order to survive. The lighting effects in that was truly amazing and breathtaking, like I said before, and made my heart beat faster and faster for each moment that I had to press a button in order for Lara to survive. The storyline of this game gripped me at the same level as Metal Gear Solid did and Legend of Zelda. And with that, I will definitely give it a 2 on my list. Now, before we get on to number 1, let's give our honourable mentions a look at, and whilst looking at that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share amongst friends, people. Enjoy. Number 1. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots was developed by Kojima Productions and published by Konami exclusively for the PlayStation 3. Released in June 2008, it was one of the most highly anticipated games of the generation and served as an epic conclusion to Solid Snake's adventure. The development of the game began in 2005 and took over 3 years, with a team of 200 working by the side of Kojima on this project. The development team pushed the PlayStation 3's hardware to its limits, creating some of the most immersive graphics and cinematic sequels ever seen on this console. The game utilized the console's cell processor to render incredible immersive detail to character models, realistic lights, and massive battlefield environments filled with dozens of AI-controlled soldiers. Voice acting was a crucial component to this game, with David Hayter returning once again as Solid Snake, alongside the entire cast from previous roles from the franchise. The game featured over 8 hours of cutscenes, making it one of the most cinematic gaming experiences ever played. Some cutscenes ran for 30 minutes, blurring the line between game and film. Metal Gear Solid 4 really received universal acclaim from critics, with many calling it a masterpiece and the perfect send-off to the beloved Solid Snake. Review scores were exceptional, with numerous perfect scores from major gaming publishers. Critically praised the game's ambitious scope, emotional storytelling, and the way it ties with the lore narrative thread from the entire series. It's one of the greatest masterpieces that Kojima has ever done to this day, in my opinion. Others may disagree on that, but this is the closest thing that we'll ever see to a great Metal Gear Solid film, which turned out to be a video game. Still to this day, I will play this every year on the anniversary I started streaming. Commercially, the game was a massive success also, selling over 6 million copies worldwide and becoming one of the best-selling PlayStation 3 exclusives. It was a system seller for the PlayStation 3, with many gamers purchasing the console just to play the game. Well, those are my top 5 games that I love and owned. I hope that you enjoyed it. Feel free to share your top 5 games on this beloved console that I love so much, the Sony PlayStation 3. Do you remember some of these games that I've mentioned in this video? Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share amongst friends. This is Flip yet again, signing out for another episode. Bye bye for now.